You know, for as long as we can remember, construction has been all about hard hats, blueprints, and, let's be honest, getting your boots muddy. But what happens when you throw some serious AI into that mix? Well, that's what we're going to dive into. We're looking at a tech called SmartVue that's giving job sites this huge upgrade, basically turning your average security camera into the smartest pair of eyes on the entire project.
In this quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? A construction site isn't just a workplace. It's more like a living, breathing ecosystem that's changing every single second. I mean, you've got hundreds of people, tons of super expensive materials, and all this massive machinery moving at the same time. Trying to manage that organized chaos, that's going to be one of the toughest jobs on the planet.
So when you've got that much going on, you know every single site is going to have its challenges. But the most dangerous ones? Well, they're usually the ones you can't even see. We're talking about the project's blind spots. So let's take a closer look at what those really are.
Okay, so here's the thing. Even the absolute best site manager, they're not a superhero. They can't be everywhere at once, right? So while they're upstairs on the 5th floor putting out one fire, a totally different safety risk could be popping up down in the basement. These blind spots, they're not about bad management, not at all. It's just a fundamental limit of, being human.
All right, first up, and this is the big one, safety. We're talking about the absolute basics here. Someone forgetting their helmet, an emergency exit getting blocked, or a worker wandering into a zone they shouldn't be in. Now, these might seem like small things, right? Just little oversights. But honestly, every single one of them is a potential accident just waiting to happen. And that doesn't just threaten the project timeline. It threatens people's lives.
Okay, next on the list, productivity leaks. Oh man, these are the silent killers of a project. Think about it. A team just standing around waiting for materials. A truck taking way too long to unload. A subcontractor who's starting to fall behind schedule. On their own, they're just tiny delays. But when you add them all up, whoa, that's when you get massive budget overruns and deadlines that just get pushed further and further out.
And last, but definitely not least, we have security. I mean, let's be real. Construction sites are basically treasure troves. You've got all this high-value stuff just sitting there. Copper wire, power tools, heavy equipment. So after everyone goes home for the day, these sites can become super easy targets for theft. And that leads to huge financial losses and, you guessed it, even more delays while you're scrambling to replace everything.
So, okay, we've got all these blind spots, right? In safety and productivity and security. The big question is, how on earth do you get a pair of eyes everywhere at once? Well, this is where the tech really starts to shine. And here's the most important thing you need to know about SmartVue. It's not about ripping out all your old cameras and hiring a bunch of new guards. No, it's a layer of pure intelligence that just sits on top of the security system you probably already have. It's like it gives your cameras a brain. It teaches these passive cameras to actively watch for specific things and to actually understand what they're looking at. And this right here, this is the magic of it. You don't need to go through the nightmare of ripping out your entire security system. The AI literally just plugs into the CCTV network you're already using. That makes it so much faster, way cheaper, and just a whole lot easier to get up and running. So yeah, think of it like a really powerful software update for your site, not some painful, expensive hardware overhaul. So the big question is, how does this AI actually supervise a super busy construction site in the real world? Well, the whole process is actually surprisingly simple. It really boils down to this simple, powerful loop. The AI is constantly watching all the live camera feeds. The second it spots something it's been trained to look for, say a person not wearing a helmet or maybe some movement on site after hours, bam, it sends an instant alert right to the site manager's phone or their computer. And this just completely flips the script on site supervision. You go from being reactive to being proactive. You're not finding out about a problem hours after it happened. You know about it the very second it's happening. So what can this thing actually see? Well, pretty much everything we've been talking about. It can spot missing safety gear, like helmets and vests. When it comes to productivity, it's really smart. It learns the normal rhythm of your workday, so it can actually tell the difference between a team taking a scheduled break versus a team that's just stuck and idle. It can even spot a forklift being used the wrong way. And it can verify big project milestones, like confirming when a concrete pour is actually finished. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so all of this sounds fantastic in theory, right? But what does it actually mean for the bottom line? Let's get down to the brass tacks and look at the actual results that companies are seeing.
Get this, a 35% reduction in safety incidents. That is not a small number. That is huge.
What that really means is you're catching hazards before they turn into accidents. It means you're protecting your workers, you're avoiding those super expensive shutdowns, and you're skipping all those long, drawn-out investigations. And for a company, that's more than just a safer site. That can mean lower insurance costs and a much better reputation when you're trying to win the next big project.
All right, let's talk about speed. We're looking at projects getting done up to 20% faster. How? By catching all those little delays and bottlenecks right when they start. Now think about a huge multi-million-dollar project. Finishing weeks, maybe even months ahead of schedule? That's not just about saving time. That translates into massive financial savings and some very, very happy clients.
And check this out, this one's a jaw-dropper. A reduction in material theft by as much as 70%. 70! Just by having this intelligent, unblinking eye watching your valuable assets 24/7, you basically just slam the door on theft. And that's not just about preventing a loss on a spreadsheet. No, you're directly protecting your profit margins and making sure your crews have the materials they need right when they need them.
So, when you put all of this together, what's the big picture here? What does this really mean for the future of construction? Let's boil it all down to the key takeaways.
So, to put it simply, this tech gives your existing cameras a brain. It goes right after the three biggest headaches on any job site: safety, productivity, and security. And it delivers real, measurable results you can actually see. And maybe the most important part, it does all of this without forcing you to go out and spend a fortune on new hardware.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. If an AI can handle all the round-the-clock monitoring, for safety, for security, for productivity, what does that mean for the actual human site manager? Does it free them up to focus on the really complex stuff like high-level problem solving and strategic planning? It kind of points to a future that's not about replacing people, but about creating this incredibly powerful collaboration between humans and AI. So, what do you think?